Whenever you're ready.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in for the May edition of If You Didn't Know, Now You Know series, sponsored by NieCat Foundation of Excellence. I'm honored to be your special guest hostess this evening. I'm Yolanda Hudson from Gateway Grant Writing. And it's just an honor to be here and share with Carlotta, share with the family, the nonprofit family, all the great things that she is doing. Carlotta, how have you been? What's going on? How's your day been?
I am well. My day has been awesome. I just got back from a retirement party for my former school. So a lot of people that I love dearly, and I'm ready. I'm ready to chat with you tonight.
All righty. I'm glad you had a great day. Well, Carlotta, I always like to start whatever little thing I'm doing with 30 seconds of silence, just for everyone to kind of relax, decompress, focus on the great things that we're going to talk about tonight, learning about NieCat's journey. So if everyone could just relax for 30 seconds, you want to clear your mind, send up good vibes for yourself, your family, friends, community, the world. 30 seconds of silence beginning now, please. It's no longer powered by law enforcement. There is a plan. All righty. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for doing that. So, as I stated earlier, we're here to talk about NieCat's journey. But before we begin talking about NieCat's journey, I want the audience to know some things. Many of you may already know because Carlotta wears so many hats. Let me say Carlotta Arthur Sullivan. Let me give the whole name out. Oh, Miriam Carlotta Arthur Sullivan. Because we all, nonprofit leaders, we wear many hats. And in our different avenues, people know us by different names. So we want to get that whole piece in. I don't want to take that lightly. I always tell young people if I mispronounce their name, they say it's okay. I say, no, it's not okay. But anyway, I digress. Let me go on back over to what we're discussing. So before we get started learning about NieCat's journey, as I was saying, I want to tell you some things about Carlotta, some of the things you may or may not know. She is currently the principal, 4 years she's been in this position, the principal of Carpe Diem Academy. It's a special needs academy that deals with young people, kindergarten through 22 years. She is an educator, 35 years in the trenches, working with special needs young people. Let's just give her a hand for that. It's amazing. That is amazing. She's weathered the storm through COVID, and I'm sure she has a lot of other great stories to tell us and share with us. In addition to that, Carlotta is the CEO and owner of NieCat Life Coaching. I want to get the whole thing out for a better you. So Carlotta wears many hats, and I always say if you want something done, ask someone that is doing a lot of things. You are sure to have your tasks accomplished. So let me tell you all about the format a little bit. Carlotta and I, we're going to have a conversation. There's some things that I want to know about the work that she's doing, some things that I know is important for the nonprofit family to know about. So it's just going to be a back and forth. If you have any questions or concerns, go ahead and put them in the chat. We will definitely take some time and address the questions before we leave this evening. And there's one other thing that I wanted to tell you. If everyone could just go ahead and chime in, and so we can know, so we can all speak to each other. Let's act like we were raised by our grandmother. So if everyone could go in the chat and say hi, maybe state the organization that you represent. Oh, I wanted to say that this is also being recorded. That was the other thing I wanted to say. All right, as you all can see, I am a chatty patty. So let me hush my mouth a little bit. And I want to start with my conversation with Carlotta. Tell us about the NieCat journey. How did we get here? 2023.
So once COVID hit, the parents started, and we were able to open back up. I would go to the school, and I had a lot of parents whose children turned 22 and they didn't have anywhere to go. And I'll never forget this one parent. She literally cried on my shoulder. And at the time, I had no idea what to tell her. Her child was 22 years old. She cleaned homes for a living. She couldn't have her 22-year-old come with her. And unfortunately, I had no answers for her. And as the universe would have it, I was watching 60 Minutes, and there it was. There were these men, affluent men, with their young adult children, and they were finding jobs. They were literally making jobs for their children at their companies. And I immediately called my boss, Lisa Gonzalez, who's also a very good friend of mine, the owner of Carpet Diem Academy. And I said, hey, I am going to open a foundation for children with special needs and young adults with special needs. And she said, go for it. You have that bug. And, a lot of us have great ideas, but then we go to sleep and we just let those ideas die, right? That didn't happen to me, right? So this was October of 2020, and little by little, I applied for my EIN number. I applied for nonprofit status, and little by little, I was able to begin working with these young adults. So the idea was to get a building. So instead of getting a building, I was able to send therapies to the homes. I was able to send HHAs, which are home health aides, to the homes. And so that was the beginning of what NieCat has metamorphosed into. So we have a Medicaid waiver number. So we're able to send speech therapists, occupational therapists, physical therapists, and behavior therapists to the homes of these young adults from 18 to 35-year-olds.
All righty. So you launched when? Okay, let's clap it up. That is worthy of clapping it up. My grandmother used to say, "It's a sorry dog that doesn't wag its own tail," and so we need to be happy for ourselves and one another. I want to go back a bit. The year you launched is what year?
2020. As
you
we were coming out of COVID. Yes, October 2020.
All right, so we're fast forwarding 3 years forward, and now you have your dream has gone from the seed to where you're actually networking with the community, providing services for the community.
So one of the activities that we're going to have starting in July is we're going to have 6 weeks of yoga in the park. So we are going to start advertising next week. This is our first time publicly talking about it. We have a yoga instructor, and we actually have permission to go into Amelia Earhart, and we're going to advertise to different foundations, different schools, where we could find these young adults with special needs, and all they have to do is come to the park, and they will have an hour of free yoga instruction.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about that.
I'm excited about that. That also just being outside. The screen froze the moment for me, so I don't know if you gave the location
Yes.
because we may have people from all over the globe. So will you repeat? Because my screen froze. I don't know if it happened for everyone else. Could you repeat the location?
Yes. So we're having yoga at the park at Amelia Earhart Parks. Is one of the best parks in Miami-Dade.
Okay, all right, all right. So you've been doing some networking to be able to position NieCat to provide services to the community. That congratulations.
Thank you.
But there's a chunk of it that you missed because we may have some aspiring nonprofit leaders tuned in this evening. The name, talk to me about the name.
Okay, so NieCat came about because I have two daughters. I
Mhm.
have my firstborn, her name is Niel, and my youngest daughter, her name is Katiana. One is 32, one is 28. And during me raising them, when I would call them, it was always either Katney or NieCat. I always caught myself before I said the complete name. So there was a lot of NieCat going on in my house and Katney as well. And so when I was thinking about a name, it just made sense. So NieCat is actually abbreviations of both of my daughter's name, Niel and Katiana. NieCat.
All right. What a beautiful, beautiful story. Anything else you want to talk to us about related to the daughters and naming the organization in honor of them?
Well, so if ever you hear NieCat on any business, you just know that it's me, as you said earlier when you did your introduction, which I appreciated. So I have NieCat Life Coaching. I am also a life coach for young adults as well. I love teenagers. I just love the way they think, and I have been blessed with the ability to reach them. So, and I'm also a parent life coach. So I like to, sometimes we forget what it was. And I just said this during the retirement. I told one of my former teachers, did you forget what it was like to be 12 years old? And she had to think about it. Did you forget what it
Right.
was when you went away to college? So my job is to remind parents how their life evolved during their teenage years, during their college years or working years, because sometimes we forget that and we're just parents. But we have to remember that before we were parents, we were young as well. Back in
Right.
those days when we were at Fisk. Remember those days?
So, when I was introducing you, how could I not mention the most important duty being the mother? So you are drawing from your skills, your journey as a mother to help you, of course, professionally in the nonprofit world and in your personal business. I just commend you. And when you say you love teenagers, do know that you are a rare breed.
Well, I
we
love other
so
people's teenagers. Other people's teenagers.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you all can see that Carlotta has a very what's the word I want to use? A very deep resume. So we got to keep moving a little bit because we can stay here for quite some time. One question I have, one thing that I was thinking about when I thought about when we're going to talk together, can you give us some information? What is a little known fact or secret that people don't know about special needs adults?
Something that individuals do not know about special needs adults, they are adults with exceptionalities. They are adults with unique abilities. I have 32 students right now under my watch as their principal. And I promise you, each one of them, regardless of whether they're autistic, Down syndrome, they have cerebral palsy, no matter what their exceptionality is they are awesome at something. They are great writers. They are great. They draw up beautifully. They are the most organized individuals ever because they are very meticulous about what they do, especially those that are in the spectrum. So we say that these individuals have unique abilities because there's something that they do and they do really, really well. Unfortunately, because they have other issues with them, for lack of better words, you don't give yourself an opportunity to find out why. You don't give yourself an opportunity to find out why is it that they're covering their ears. They're covering their ears because their sensitivity to sound is a million times what we're hearing. You know, why is it that they don't like to be touched? It's because their skin is very, very sensitive. So if you could respect what their challenge is and you sit down and try to explore their talents, you will realize that they are very, very, very talented at something.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting. Couple of things. So layperson, I said special needs adult, you the professional, in that sector, in the sector that you are primarily focused in, you said exceptionality and unique abilities.
Yes.
So once we start, and so what you said is we don't always see those exceptionalities and unique abilities. So we need to move to using those terms.
Yes.
Right, is what I'm hearing you say. We need to move to using those terms so we can open our eyes and our heart to see all the gifts that the exceptionality and unique abilities group of people have, because we're all born with them. And so you're saying to us, please acknowledge it, take a moment, step back, don't become overwhelmed.
Correct.
Don't become overwhelmed. Okay, so that's good to know. That is good to know. So you talked about some of the services earlier. You talked about the home health aid visit. You talked about the yoga in the park. Are there any other services that NieCat offers to the community that you want to share with us?
NieCat has done another metamorphosis, and this is the one that I am concentrating on. This is the one that I have put all of my energy in, and this is the one that is being unveiled today. And if you didn't know, now you know series. So NieCat is going to, and I know every single one of you can see this and say a quick prayer. NieCat has a new venture, and the venture is called, of course, NieCat Blessings Academy. NieCat Blessings Academy, NBA, will be a preschool. It will be a preschool for little ones with special needs. Now you would say, but why, Carlota? Why? Let me tell you why. Because if you go to preschools, the first thing that they want is normal children. They have no idea how to deal with that child that cannot sit, that child that has to be fed through a tube, that child that is Down syndrome, that child that just cannot take the noise, cannot be touched. Well, guess what? NieCat Blessings Academy, NBA want those children. So what we're setting up right now, and I'm happy and really blessed to say that last week we had a visit and we passed a visit. So we're one step ahead with our Medicaid number, is that we want to have a center where the infants through 5-year-olds that have exceptionalities, unique abilities could come in. We know how to teach them. I have the records to show from Carpe Diem Academy that I know exactly how they learn, and I know exactly how to individualize their instruction in order for them to learn according to their own abilities, right? So we understand that not everyone that leaves a 5-year-old will be in kindergarten level, but at least we will be able to teach them. And in addition to teaching them, we're also going to provide therapies. So by the time the parents picks them up, they will have all their therapies done, as well as their educational history. Now, the next part, and I thought of this all by myself, the next part I said, because again, I have these parents that I've developed relationships with. And this one thing about a special need parent, they don't have the time. They don't have the time for themselves because their child has to be watched constantly. It's not like you could leave an autistic child alone. That would not be a good idea. So what NBA is also providing is on Fridays and Saturdays after care. So on Saturdays, we will be open from 9 to 12, where mom could go to the movies, mom can go shopping, mom could just drop the baby off and go home and take a nap, where dad could watch the car, watch sports, whatever they want to do. But Fridays from 6 to 10 and Saturday from 9 to 12, they will have an opportunity to just breathe by themselves. And that is NieCat's Lessons Academy Preschool.
Wow, Carlotta, that is amazing. So you're going to be working on opposite ends. You're going to work with the adults, the young people that are aging out of the school age. I hate to say it, system. And at the same time, you are going to work with the babies.
Right. So when it comes to the 18 to 35-year-olds, we're just sending therapies to the house, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
as you know, and I have to do a shameless plug here, How to Start Something is a program that I began that is teaching me how to build my business. And one of the things that I learned from this program is that you can't do two things at the same, two businesses, and do them well. You have to concentrate on one. Well, when it comes to the foundation, sending therapists to the homes, that's not going to require much work. The work is going to come in opening this preschool and funding the preschool and making sure that we have the children that fit into the exceptionalities that we're looking for, which is all exceptionalities. So that's going to be a concentration moving forward.
Okay, so the NieCat Foundation for the young adults, that's going. That train is moving.
It's
now
moving.
We are building NBA, NieCat Blessings Academy. But on top of that, I just have to commend you, because you're looking at the entire picture. You're providing services not only for the young people, but for the parents, because they need a break. And
they need a break.
That's great. That is great that you're going to encompass all of that in your program. So as you're building the foundation for the MBA, tell us a little bit about your ideal client.
The ideal client, and it's something that I'm working on with the class that I'm taking, how to build something. My ideal client is actually the parent. So we're looking for parents that have infants to 5-year-olds that have exceptionalities, right? So they went to the pediatrician sent them to the neurologist, and the neurologists have given them prescriptions to either go see the physical therapy, the speech therapist, or occupational therapy, or even to have behavior services. Those are the children that we are looking for. Those are the parents that we know that we can help. We are looking for parents that who were told by the other preschools, we can't handle your child. We don't know what to do. That's the parent that I said, come to me and let's talk.
Okay. Someone just chimed in, wraparound services. That's what NieCat is offering. So thank you for sharing that term, that sector term that we use. So you're telling us the different services that you offer. How can people get in touch with NieCat to access some of these services?
So in order to access the services for now, we're working on private insurance. The applications are being put in, but before we do that, we have to have a Medicare number, which we do, but we only have a Medicare number at this point for physical therapy and behavior therapy, right? So it's a process. So we're following the process. So the way that they would do is that, and I could put it in the chat, they can email me. Of course, I have to find the chat. How cute is that? They can email me. The email is NieCat, that's easy, foundation at, again, NieCat, NieCat.org, O-R-G. And I'm going to put it on the chat in 1 second. Here we go. So it's NieCat Foundation at NieCatNFE.org. So if you know anyone that has a young child, please make sure that you send them my email address because I need to talk to them.
All righty. I like that you're making yourself available to
Yes.
Assist them. And also, family, be sure to take a look at the website and you'll see a lot of the great things that is going on. NieCat Foundation has a newsletter that comes out regularly and it keeps you abreast of all the great things going on. Don't hesitate to reach out. Don't be afraid. Help is here. Help is here. So you said, before we go on, you said NieCat is only offering and two services. You said physical and behavioral.
Right. So those are the services that for the babies, those are the two services that the Medicare has said yes to so far.
Okay. All right.
And we started the process about three months ago. So when I tell people that are in the business, they are really shocked on how fast the process is going for NieCat. And when they ask me, well, how is this happening? And the only answer that I have for them is, but God. You know, I'm like a little kid. I'm excited and I'm moving forward. There are many people that say to me, you can't do that. That can't be done. That's too hard. And I hear them and I say, okay, but I continue to move forward because of me, I can't do this of me. This is not me. I have a higher power working because my brain is this is just not me. I can guarantee you this is God.
Awesome. What a beautiful testimony. What a beautiful testimony. So as we're talking about this journey, what are you most proud of as it relates to bringing NieCat to this point, to 2023? When at night when you're like, did that really happen?
What I am most proud of is the opportunities that I have to help families. What I am most proud of is that when I share with my working family, the parents that I'm working on the Carpe Diem Academy, they are telling me, I wish there was something like that for my child. So one of the homeworks that we had to do is we had to, for something, how to start something, one of the homeworks was to interview individuals and tell them about our business and ask them the why. And every single one of my parents now at Carpe Diem Academy felt that it was so hard. It is so hard to find a preschool for a child with unique abilities. It is extremely challenging. And so just those answers from that, and that was just homework that I was doing. Just those answers let me know that's just another sign that this is the right thing to do.
Wow. So you're recently enrolled in the program, how to
Yes,
start something, but the vision, the ideal for MBA had come to you some time ago.
correct. Last school year.
Wow. And then the questions from the parent, Carlotta doing her homework, because she is always on it. She did the homework. And oh, Carlotta, these are so many testimonies. You were obedient. Okay, you did the homework and the parents shared for you and you got confirmation, which is continuing to fuel you. That,
Right.
oh, Carlotta, I'm getting excited. I'm getting so excited just to hear about this, the inner workings, the
Right.
inner workings. Now, you know, we always have to look at the flip side. What has been most challenging?
The most challenging,
Mhm,
there are a couple of challenges, but the most challenging is the learning curve, right? Because remember, I'm
mhm,
an educator by trade. And so there are things that
mhm.
I did not know about Medicaid, about the Medicaid waiver. So that's a challenge. Another challenge that I've had is having a board, a working board. It has been very challenging for me to have a working board. So I find myself working the whole entire board. I find myself doing the fundraisers by myself, which it shouldn't be, right? I should have individuals that assist me. And I must also say that that's part of my personality because
Mhm.
I'm just going to go ahead and do it on my own, right? And I must commend you because you're always telling me, no, you can't do it on your own. So you have taught me that, but that has been one of my challenges. Raising money has been a challenge. Every time I get paid, I pay NieCat every time I get paid. However, it just can't be me. And so grants need to be written. And I do have to knock on banks' door, but if you know anything about banks, they want to see you a startup. They want to see you making money. And so that's also has been a challenge. But again, I'm just putting one foot in front of the other.
Wow. All right, fam, you hear the challenges, fundraising. And when you go to the NieCat website, she does have a donate button. And so no donation is too small, family. Don't think this doesn't matter. You all know pennies add up to dollars, dollars to 100, hundreds to millions. So if you can, and if you, and any we'll get to that in a little bit. One other thing, fam, board. We need some, NieCat is in looking for people that are ready to roll up their sleeves and go to work on this very important issue. I'm going to put on my nonprofit consultant hat for one moment. Those two, oh, I want to go back before I get into the, you mentioned learning about the Medicaid waiver piece. And so I just want to commend you for the growth, stepping out of your comfort zone to help those in need. That's a big deal. That's nothing to take lightly. And I know working the government can be quite challenging. So I definitely want to acknowledge that. But in terms, going back to the nonprofit piece, fundraising and board members, if you are to survey nonprofit leaders, those are going to be the two things that they always say. So you're not alone, if that helps any. And as we're talking about the nonprofit piece and the avenue, can you share with the family what is an average day like for a nonprofit leader for NieCat?
And so my life has moved to being able to work on NieCat on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I could just give you last Tuesday, I took the girls to school and I had a meeting with a school. So
Mhm.
I'm now making relationships, forging relationships with schools so that when the speech therapist, the occupational therapist, the physical therapist, and behavior therapist graduate, they know that they already have a place to go. Last week, I met with a school that is for home health aides. I also have their contact number. After that, I had to go to the bank. After that, I had to come home. I had to read all my emails. I had to answer emails. So there's a lot of, right now, there's a lot of relationship building that I'm doing, so that what I want to do is I want to have an arsenal. So if a child comes in, a 3-year-old comes in and they don't have any paperwork, I will have a neurologist on speed dial. Hey, I need you to see this child, because something that you don't know is that a neurologist takes at least 3 months to get an appointment. So if you are thinking about changing your career, become a neurologist, okay? Because there's obviously not enough of them, because at least 3 months. So I want to develop a relationship with a neurologist that I could just call and just push my people in, because I'm an advocate, right? So I advocate for my teachers, I advocate for my parents, and I'm also going to advocate for my future children. So we want them to have all the services necessary. And then in order to do that, I need to build a team, per se.
All righty. So I hear you say you're dropping the kids off. So soon as the boots hit the ground in the morning, one hat is on, the daily living hat, making those wheels turn, and your NieCat, you just switch it around and the NieCat hat is on. And we all know building relationships, networking, not only takes time, but it takes energy. So the average day, so you're dropping the kids off, let's say 8 a.m. So you have that first meeting, and you talked about all the things that happen when you come home and throughout your day. What time does the NieCat day end?
The NieCat day ends when the bus and the bus sounds the horn and the dogs run to the window. I know the girls are home, so that the hat comes off for some time, and then I get them settled, and then the hat comes back on.
Okay, so we're looking at a 10 to 12 hour day is what I'm hearing.
Pretty much.
All right, and all nonprofit leaders know, and some of you may not know, family, but it is a 24-hour job, 7 days a week. They are always working. One last thing I want to talk to you about, is because it is 7:12, and we want to give time for the family to have their questions entertained. Excuse me for reading, family. Nonprofits are the new social safety net. This is something that we hear often. What are your thoughts about that statement, Carlotta? Nonprofits are the new social safety net.
So where the government stops, where other entities stop, that's where non-profits come in. So let me give you an example. NieCat has a relationship with the network of disabilities, right? So they actually have grants, and they deal with special needs adults who do not have any insurance, whether they are young adults that just they are migrants, they don't have papers. And so we developed a relationship with them, and they were actually the first entity to give me the opportunity to provide home health aid. So if you look at the last newsletter, there's a picture there. That lady that is there, she's the HHA, and that the little boy that you see, he actually needs her services. And the family, the family's very it's in need. The family does not have papers. So this entity helps these families by writing grants, and they in turn hire companies like NieCat in order to provide the services. So without the, pardon my dogs, without this company, these families would not be able to have any services because, again, they are undocumented.
You get it?
So where the government stops, where the doctors stop, where other entities
This is
stop,
something that
that's
I
when
agree
us
with all of you.
nonprofit
Be done in 15 minutes.
come in.
So I heard another wraparound service that you are providing. You're helping people that have issues with paperwork, and so that they can access the many services that we have here in the U.S. So you have a soft spot in your heart to help those families and those young people. So you partner with this organization. Congratulations. You said they were the first, so we want to acknowledge them. Will you give their name again?
They are the Advocacy Network for Disabilities.
All righty. Is this a national organization or particular to the Miami-Dade area?
I am going to say they're particular to the Miami-Dade area.
Okay, all righty.
So when
are there other?
So when I say that I'm going to recruit some young adults for the yoga program in July, that's where most of them are going to come from, because they have a list of a lot of young adults that are literally waiting for services because they don't have their paperwork, or a lot of them are waiting with the Medicaid waiver, because if you're not severe, then the Medicaid waiver, which is a national entity, puts you on a waiting list.
Okay. Wow. Whew. You have been moving, shaking and moving. What about other nonprofit organizations that young people, parents of exceptionalities and unique abilities? Are there any other organizations in your area that you would encourage people to reach out to?
Well, an organization that I am very impressed with is WOW. So WOW they have many franchises around the city, and they specialize in finding young adults work. So they have a system where it's called vocational rehabilitation, where they train them to do a particular job, and then they provide them with job coaches, and they go out into the community and perform these jobs. And how the relationships begin is because you have businesses that are willing to actually hire these young adults.
Okay. You said the organization is WOW, W-O-W. Is that
W-O-W.
All right. So fam, take a look. If you find that you want to help your young adult move to that area of being employed, earning their own money, go check out WOW. And it's very important, family, that we access these services. So many nonprofits, they receive government funding. And if they don't spend that money, of course, we have to send the money back. But that also says to the greater community that these services aren't needed. So I encourage you to check out the organizations that Carlotta has shared with us. So I'm going to kind of wrap up here so we can give the family some time to have their questions entertained. So just real quick, Carlotta, if you could give us a summary of what's coming up in the summer in terms of services.
So during the summer, we're moving forward with finding a location for NBA NieCat Blessings Academy. We're moving forward with making sure that the preschool is well staffed. And the most important thing that we're doing is we're going to have the 6 weeks, which will probably turn into more than just 6 weeks of the yoga in the park. And just so that you know, we do have a $5 fundraiser because we have to pay the yoga instructor, right? Unless, of course, one of you knows a yoga instructor that will do it for free, we need to pay the yoga instructor. So that is why we have that $5 flash sale, we're calling it. And I just want to take this moment because when I used to, so Carpe Diem Academy had 2 locations. One location for those of us that live in Miami, one location was in Little Havana, and the other location was in Kendall. The Little Havana campus is now closed, so we are all in Kendall now. But when I used to be in Little Havana at around 10:30 every day, I will walk up and down the block. That was my Fitbit exercise. And every Tuesday, I think it was every Tuesday, I had a phone call, and that phone call was Yolanda Hudson, the moderator right now. And she became my first business coach, my grant coach, my you got to get this done coach, my first accountability partner. And I knew that when she called, I better have all my homework done because she just has this way that you have to get your work done. And so I just want to publicly thank you. If you want a grant writer, she's the person to see. If you have any type of questions when it comes to nonprofit, she's the person to see. I have cried in her shoulder about my children. We have laughed together. And I just want to publicly say to you, Yolanda, thank you so much for everything that you've done. Thank you for you are a very vital part of where NieCat is now. And I'm giving you the charge to get me some working board members. That's your job, ma'am, and training them and making sure that I honestly believe you are part of NieCat, and I appreciate all you have done. So thank you, not only for this, but for everything you've done. Thank you.
Carlotta, you're about to make me cry. I didn't know that. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I just feel honored to be a part of the NieCat journey. Just watching you grow. I mean, you inspire me. If I could be half the taskmaster that you are, I would be doing something because you are on it. You are on it. But thank you for allowing me to work with you and just be a part of the NieCat dream. So family, you see, she just charged me. We are in the process of looking for new board members. And if you are interested, you can feel free to reach out to Carlotta, or you can reach out to me, Yolanda Hudson at gatewaygrantwriting.com. I want to be honest, being a board member, it is a job, and you are serving. I won't even say it's a job. You are serving, and you are helping to take organizations to the next level. So if you have a heart and you have some extra time and energy, we're going to build a board that is going to take NieCat to the next level. We definitely want the MBA, the NieCat Blessings Academy. We want them to have a home. We want to be able to provide services, and we need some working hands, some feet, big hearts to help make that happen. So thank you, Carlotta. You're making me blush. And in Detroit, sometimes when we go out, we'll say for different events that cost $5, the person will say $5, and the audience says only $5. So fam, go ahead, make that $5 donation. towards the yoga instructor. And if there's a yoga instructor that is out there in the community, you can reach out. There are different ways that we can work together to not only provide services for NieCat, but to help build your business. One more thing, Carlotta, there is something coming up in July.
Yes, in July, we're going to have 100 friends in 100 days. So how does that work? You donate $100 to NieCat. It is tax deductible, one. And two, your name will go on the website. If you have a business, your business will also be featured on our website. So that's 100 friends in $100 in 100 days, which means that we are trying to make sure that we have 100 friends participating. Last year, we raised $2,400 with this campaign. So this is the annual campaign. During the Thanksgiving, we have the popcorn just after Thanksgiving. Like, you haven't eaten enough, I'm going to set you out some popcorn so that you can have some popcorn. And believe it or not, it's a very, very good fundraiser. We do really, really well by that. So I hope and pray that some of you would catch my vision, especially those of you that will see this again via the recording, and help us out, because this is a good cause.
Yes, yes, it is. And about the donation, NieCat is a 501c3. It is tax deductible. So you can donate as the individual and receive your tax deduction. And because with the 100 friends, all of the money is going straight to NieCat. But the business owners, your business can also make donations, and you can claim that as well. And help, make a difference in the world. There was one other item that I wanted to say to you about the fundraising. Oh, giving circles. So say you don't have $100, maybe you can get together 5 or 10 friends. We call these giving circles, and you ask them to donate. And we'll have the Detroit West Side Giving Circle donating $100 to NieCat. There are many ways to help, and Gateway Grant Writing can help. If you're interested in giving to NieCat, but you don't quite know how, you don't have that $100, I can also help you with that. I can't even believe it, Carlotta. It is 7:27. I did check the chat. I didn't see any questions, but I definitely, since we have a small group, if you don't mind, Carlotta, if people don't mind, if they want to share, and if they have any comments, feel free. I want to open up the floor.
Okay, so I'm going to unmute everyone. So everybody has now the opportunity to unmute yourself. I want to take this time to say thank you, Andrea. You could unmute yourself, my dear. Can you do it? Can you do it? You have your hand raised.
I did it. Hi.
Hey.
Hello. Thank you for sending me this link. I was working. I'm still working, but anything for you. What I wanted to know, you're creating a board. What types of individuals or skill sets are needed for your board?
Yolanda, you're muted.
Andrea or Andrea? I want to make.
Well, I say Andrea. My mom says Andrea, so I answered to both.
I'm going to go with Miss Robinson.
That
Okay, so Miss Robinson, one thing that is important, that board members are on board with the mission of the organization. So that's the one thing. And you need to be able to donate, I would say, depending on, it varies, it's, ebb and flow, somewhere between 5 to 10 hours a month doing some actual work. And there are always meetings. There be board meetings, and then individual committee. Let me say teams. I like to use the word team rather than committee. Your team meetings, and we say that the board is the mouthpiece, the spokesperson for the organization. You're the cheerleader, and you are also the group of people that help raise funds to make sure that the organization continues. And most importantly, you make sure that NieCat is being financially responsible with the money that they're receiving from donors and people that grantors that donate money, large chunks of money. That's it briefly, that's an overview of something that we're looking for. I did see, Carlotta, someone asked you to put in the chat the link for the donation. I don't know if you can access the give box.
I'm
Did that
working
answer
on
your
that right
question?
now.
Okay. Ms. Robinson, did that answer your question?
Well, I didn't know if you needed any particular skill sets, because based on what you said, it seems as if skill sets aren't needed. It's just the willingness to serve.
Oh, no. It's no. Willingness to serve is most important. It doesn't matter what type of skill set you have, willingness to serve. So of course, you need people with a background in law. You need, it's helpful to have people with an accounting background, social media type of expertise. If you are interested, we will find the space that you will best be able to serve. Because a nonprofit is like any business, and you need many people, many types of skills to help everything happen. You want to share with us what your skill set is, your expertise?
I am a journalist, so, but she knows me. We've been rolling for a long time, and I've served on boards, several boards, or a few boards. But I was just curious. That's all.
Okay. So that would be very beneficial to NieCat to have the service of someone that has served on boards previously. Also, a journalist, of course, with the writing, because there's always a lot of writing to do. But having connections with the community in terms of journalism, the Miami-Dade, that would be very helpful to get publicity out. So a journalist, so you're creative, you're in. Just contact Carlotta and we'll share some more information with you.
And I just want to say this, that because my life is the way my life is, we are not going to have face-to-face meetings. All our meetings will be via Zoom, and that is something that Yolanda really frowned upon about a year ago. But this is the best way that I could do it. So you could be in your PJs, shut down your camera, and still be able to serve as a board member.
Yes, COVID changed all the rules in the nonprofit world. So don't feel like she's saying it's going to happen virtually. Definitely happening virtually. Any other questions or comments from the family that are here this evening? All righty.
Well, I have a meeting with my dissertation chair. See, we didn't even talk about that. I'm writing my dissertation. We're not going to talk about that. I have a dissertation meeting with my dissertation chair now at 7:30, and then I have a meeting with my beautiful accountability partner Tamara after that. So I have to say thank you. Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you for each one of you that showed up. I am going to try my best not to lose this series as I did the last one. I have to save it. It will be on my website. It will be on Facebook. It will also be on Instagram. So if you see it posted and you know someone that can benefit from this information, if you know someone that is looking for a grant writer, if you know someone that is looking for someone that is an expert at fundraising, please share this recording with them. Thank you. Appreciate you. God bless, and please have NieCat in your consciousness. Yolanda, thank you. Good night,
Thank you.
everybody.
You. Congratulations. Continue. Good luck.
Good
Everyone,
night.
Blessings.
take
Good
care.
night.
Good night.
Bye.